If you are an expat and want to make the most of your vacations abroad, this is for you. All right, so let's get started. Thank you, Krisha, for being with me here today. For those
Thank you.
who not know Krisha Young is a health and lifestyle expert. And Krisha is not your typical, let's say, weight loss coach. What Krisha does is delivers really practical solutions for people based on where they're at in their life, and has a huge realism about what people are willing to do and change, but has a core interest of absolutely finding a solution that benefits your whole well-being. Did I sum that up, Krisha? Well,
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's perfect. That was a really great description.
And she's fun and sassy, so that's nice too. So Krisha has been so kind to join me today because I did a series on expat vacations last summer. Everything you need to know before you go, while you're there, visiting home, for example, and then when you get back. And I can help with some of the things around the practicalities and the mindset, but one way that Krisha really adds value is to talk about the nitty-gritty of the health perspective. And as you know, if you're listening to this right now, expat vacations abroad need endurance because we spend a lot of time getting ready, getting our family prepared, traveling across the world, hauling bags, getting over jet lag with children, and we want to make the best of it. You invest a lot of money, you're home away from family and friends for a long time, so this is something we really want to do well. So thank you, Krisha, for being here.
You're welcome. I'm excited. I love talking about travel and all this stuff, so it's good.
So here's the thing. In one of my first articles I wrote about expat vacations before you go, I talk about the 4 Ps: plan, prepare, pack. And the one people often forget about is the people side. So I would love to hear from you. What sage wisdom do you have for expats who are trying to prepare, plan, and pack to move, themselves or people around the world to really try to rest and rejuvenate?
Yeah, like in terms of health and nutrition and mindset and all that kind of stuff, I think the most important things to think about would be how you're fueling your body to have the capacity to do the endurance of the trip. So let's assume here that the majority of people are going on a flight that's longer than an hour. An hour, 2-hour long flight, no big deal. You don't really have to do a lot to prepare for that. But, 3, 6, 9, 10, 14, even 24-hour flights, that's a long time. And you really need to make sure that your energy levels are up so that you can cope with not just the travel itself and going through all those time zones, but if you're traveling with kids too, like being able to cope with all of that drama that comes with young children going through the same sort of thing, but not understanding how to handle it themselves. And I think like in terms of endurance, we're very quick to grab things like coffee. We're feeling tired, so we're going to have a coffee. Or we grab those like quick energy snacks, like a bagel or a bag of chips or something like that. Or we get on the plane and we're like, oh my God, like just give me a drink. I need a drink. And I've been there with all of that, so I get it. But the thing that you need to think about is when you're having that coffee, like your coffee in the morning, no problem. But if you're fueling your day on coffee all day long, leading up to the flight, not only is that really dehydrating, and then you're getting on a plane that's going to like suck all the moisture out of you even more, but it's going to mess up with like your stress system. Like it'll make you more nervous and more sort of like punchy than you actually need to be because of the caffeine. And it's going to give you a false sense of energy, right? So you're going to have that energy spike and then you're going to crash, and then the coffee spike and crash. And that's just not good for endurance. So we have to think about it in terms of like running a marathon. You know, like how would you fuel yourself if you're running a marathon?
But what can I do before I even go? Because I'm tired before I even get started. Like I get to the airport and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Like I'm already tired before
I
take off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so you want to make sure that you're drinking like lots of water the day of. And I know we can't bring water to the airport, but once you're there, purchase a couple big bottles of water so you're not having to wait for the flight attendant to come and give you like that tiny little glass. And make sure you're bringing stuff with you, like have a really great breakfast or lunch, whatever, depending on when your flight is on the day of, so that you're nice and fueled and you're not thinking about food. And then like bring with you snacks that are going to help sustain your energy. So instead of stuff that's going to have you spike up and down, bring things like granola bars or protein bars or something like that. Like just think protein, right? So nuts and seeds, even like a cheese snack, a cheese and apple, or a nut butter and apple, or something like that, that you can bring to at least to the airport. And you know, if at some point you have to get rid of it because you're not allowed to take it on the plane or whatever, at least up to that point, you're taking care of your body and you're fueling yourself and your brain so that you have enough energy to like, you know, cope with all of the stuff that's going on. But I also think like a lot of it is stress management too, right? Like just feeling so stressed out about the trip. And so all of that kind of comes down to mindset as well. So I say like, let go of the perfection. You know, like make a checklist for everything. I think you said you had a checklist. You know,
people can pack and know they don't have to worry that they forgot something. Yeah.
Exactly. So do the same thing in terms of a checklist for like healthy things. I've got one that I can share with your people as well. And, you know, like so take the thinking out of all of that stuff and like, yeah, I've done that. I've got everything. And then you don't have to think about it.
Parents, and I know, and including myself, is when you're traveling, we travel like 12 to 24 hours. We, you know, I don't know if I've ever been on a flight for only an hour.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, you do need strategies, you do need distractors. And people bring things like gummy bears or chocolates or things that they don't normally get at home to keep them interested, to keep them excited. But I know that's probably not the best thing from a health perspective.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can still have the gummy bears because that's fun, right? Like, and what kid's going to want to eat just like, I don't know, boring stuff all day long, right? And if it's if it's been a strategy that's worked for you in the past, then keep doing it. But realize that when you're giving your kids, like, or even yourself, candy, which is basically what a gummy bear is, it's just sugar. And what that does in your body is it makes your blood sugars rise. So you get all hyper, but then you crash. And so that's what's happening. And so when our kids go like mental, it's usually because they're crashing from low blood sugar, right? So always think like, when was the last time my kid ate? What was the last thing my kid ate, right? So to mitigate this whole gummy bear thing, you can do like have a gummy bear and then have an almond. Have a gummy bear and have an almond. So the almond. I can do broccoli. Yeah, you're sneaking in like a little bit of goodness there, but then you're still having the gummy bear, so it's all good. But that way, like the fat and the protein in the almond, maybe like 2 almonds for 1 gummy bear or something like that. But the fat and the protein will, in theory, slow that sugar release down. So they shouldn't have that big up and down spike that they would if they were just like munching on like 5,000 gummy bears or Smarties or whatever.
And what you're basically saying is, and what I'm hearing is, when we fly, we know we'll get food. So as the parents, you know, you bring things for your kids probably, but for the parents, you think, I'll eat on the plane. But what you're saying is maybe you want to think about what else could you bring along so that you don't have to wait until the food is served when you're sleeping, for example, or that it's not the right kind of foods. And you mentioned fat and protein, and that sounds like being really mindful about that endurance rather than just like the rice and veggie meal because I'm a vegetarian, but something like how can I give myself the sort of the gritty, you know, how do I want to say it, like the stuff that will stick on your bones for that 12-hour flight. I know that you're kind of famous for lemon water. what's the deal with lemon water? Why, if I'm on the airplane and I know, oh, yeah, exactly, you have it. If I'm on the airplane and I'm like, well, Krista says drink lemon water, so I'll just drink lemon water, which actually I've been doing, but I really don't know why. Why am I drinking lemon water?
Okay. Well, I mean, besides travel, lemon water is fantastic for so many reasons. I love it. It helps to regulate your digestion. It helps to produce collagen, which we need for our skin and our joints. So it really helps like brighten our skin from the inside out. It's really amazing when you start drinking lemon water. Like it's like you've had a whole new layer of skin put on your face. It's pretty cool. It's really hydrating, and because of the vitamin C in it, it's really great for our immune system as well. And when you're in that germ bucket of an airplane, you want to do as much as you possibly can to increase your immune system, right? So lemon water is one of the ways that you can help do that. So I would just say to anybody watching, do lemon water every day, first thing in the morning, providing you don't have a citrus allergy or anything. But then, yeah, when you're on the plane, like, ask for a lemon wedge if they've got it, and not add that to your water just to enhance it flavor-wise, but also to give you all these amazing benefits.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot, and I just want to make sure that we don't miss any key points. So what you're saying is, in terms of planning, plan to bring snacks that are protein rich or fat that will stay, but like a healthy fat that will be not just for your children, but also for yourself. I'm hearing about preparing, having good food the day of. So you're kind of starting with a good base. And while you're on the flight, make wise choices in terms of what will help my endurance rather than avoiding the peaks.
Yeah. And
the lemon water will be good just for long-term effects, but if you're doing it mindfully on the airplane, that'll help with your immunity and with your hydration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, a lot of this stuff starts like way before your trip too, right? So any of these tips apply to every single day, not just the flight. So if, anybody watching, like you can start these things today, like this is all stuff that applies to the everyday, like making sure you're keeping your blood sugar stable. You should be doing that every day, but definitely for on a trip as well. And the other thing we talked about was it was ditching the perfection, not being perfect and just whatever happens. Getting all those checklists.
Just get me there. Like, let me land. If I have my bags, that's a bonus. If I have my entire family, members that were traveling with me, that's what I want to ride. Well, this is so great. Can you tell us if our listeners take action on one thing, what would be the one thing you would like them to do?
One thing. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I suppose, can I say two things? Probably like the lemon water would be one of the sort of overreaching things that has many, it reaches so many different corners of our health and our life. And it's so simple and so easy for people to do. And it's literally just like squeezing some, like half of a real lemon into a glass and drinking it room temperature or warm, and having that. That's as simple as what lemon water is. So I think that would probably be my number one tip.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. If you want to learn more about Krisha, you can find her website in the description or in my newsletter, krishayoung.com, if I'm correct. And I will put a link to the original article for the expat preparation side as well. So thank you, Krisha. And the big excitement is that you're coming back for 2 more interviews to help us understand what to do once we land. So looking forward to talking to you then, Krisha. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye. Bye.